Hello, Pokemon fans. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. This daily match is actually a little bit different. As you can see right now, what you're seeing on screen is a match that is already well underway. I was actually, I had started a match when I was at school earlier today, and then within the first couple turns, I could tell right away that this was going to be a really good match. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to hit record, and then I'll talk over this later because I didn't want to record when a bunch of other people were around. But yeah, I do play throughout the day, but once this match started getting underway, it was a straight Garbodor type of deck they were running, and I could just kind of already see the pieces were lining up well for me and lining up for my opponent. So I was like, this is going to be today's match because I know this is going to be a good one. But I like these videos when I've already recorded them and talk over them. Usually I try to do it as much in real time as possible. Actually, 99% of them have been that, but every now and then I do get to enjoy this a little bit. What's nice is I already know what the outcome is. But this was one of the most exciting matches that I have played in a long time. It comes down to the wire. I won't spoil it again. I think I probably will already spoiled it with the thumbnail. But just a great demonstration of what's capable of the Empoleon card from Ultra Prism. So as you can see right here, I'm just about ready to do a deck profile, and if you've been watching a couple of these videos or even just clips from the past couple days, this deck has definitely evolved, have pun intended. Count how many times I make water puns before the end of this video. There's been a couple of really big changes I've made with this deck. So originally, I was using Counter Energy. I was even using Manaphy, the EX Manaphy from Breakpoint. Just really was just experimenting with things. A couple of the things I switched out are, what was the most recent one? I've gone down one Rescue Stretcher, a couple other things here. The biggest, actually, maybe the coolest one, I've thrown in Alolan Ninetales, which is absolutely a game changer. A fantastic addition. I've balanced out the energy. I was going on the lower side of energy for a while, but then this deck, and like I said, here comes another water pun. This deck, it runs dry. Ha ha ha. Oh god, I hope no one hears that. But really, you need a decent amount of water to get those aqua patches to hit. And use them when you need them to. So I've kind of balanced things out a little bit. It's about time that I do an in-depth deck profile. I actually got to try out this deck last night in person. I had some great results playing against some good friends. And you're about to see how well this deck does against the Garbodor Espeon combination. They could have very easily, you'll see in a little bit, I'll spoil it now, I do end up winning this battle, but literally it was down to the wire. One card difference, and they could have probably pulled out the win as well. So right here, this is a perfect example of what I said, how I threw him a curveball. So already, this was the first time I had tried using the Alolan Ninetales. Before this, I had only used Vulpix just as a way to be able to evolve my guys in a quicker way, or at the very least, my opponent, maybe if I try to grab Pokemon, they play N or something, but then, I had only really been using Alolan Vulpix, but Ninetales already right here, right now, that means that Espeon they have on the field can't damage my Ninetales, unless then of course there's a Garbodor with abilities and stuff, but then it shuts down all of their abilities as well. So they really gotta decide what they want to do here, and you'll just kind of see in a second how the flow of this deck, where it's right now. I'm really proud of the deck I've made. It's time. There's a couple things I think I want to tweak, but it's just about time for me to do an in-depth deck profile, what I did with my Lycanroc deck. I'm at a really comfortable place, and had this been the deck I would have been using a couple weeks ago, I would have absolutely used this for regionals. I think I could have done a lot better, and who knows, I don't know if I would have made the second day finals, but I think I would have done at least 1 to 2 more matches with this deck. So let's see what else was different. So with this deck, I think that, or I do think that I went down, I can't remember what the exact number was I was running here. Double colors energy, you only need, I do remember, I'm only running 2 double colors energy in this deck, and I think that's perfectly acceptable. Here you see me making the decision if I want to discard another Piplup or Zork. I do end up discarding the Piplup, and very conveniently, some other pieces I want to talk about, as you can see here on the screen, just there isn't a way, there is absolutely multiple ways I could have knocked out that Parallel City. There was, you know, I could have Field Blowered it, I could have Skylit it, and go for a Brooklet Hill as well. Just like I said, the flexibility the flexibility I've been having with this deck has been absolutely incredible. And you'll get to see in a couple seconds, I make a pretty big error coming up that would have, I really do think, changed the flow of the battle. But here, yes, this happens right here where I could have gotten a knockout, and you'll see what I did wrong. So I do end up using the Field Blower to discard the Parallel City and the Floatstone, but as I'm kind of flipping things around, what I should have done, well, maybe it did play out that I got to draw more cards. I don't end up discarding, I end up discarding Skyline, and had I done things just a little bit differently here, I probably could have knocked out this Espeon GX right here, but you'll see this in just a second. So I attach that in there, that's good. What did I do next? It's always interesting watching back. I highly recommend anyone who is, you know, getting into competitive playing, whether you do it recording because you want to do something similar like this, watching yourself play matches, or seeing how like you do things, you learn so much about your style of playing, or things that maybe you want to change here or there. Or just like see, oh, maybe I should have done this instead. Because right here, at this point, I could have got the knockout. All I needed was, I was doing 100, 120, 140, 160. All I needed to grab now was the choice band. I honestly don't know why I didn't go for the choice band. Maybe I just want to try to get more cards in my hand and play another guy down on the bench. I honestly thought, was thinking that I could get another, I could get a choice band by throwing down Cynthia, but at this point, I should have just taken my time, not even play that Ultra Ball. I play the Ultra Ball, but I discard Skyla and the Aqua Patch, which was a horrible mistake. Almost cost me the match. It definitely is. This move right here is what made this match go on a lot longer than it could have been. Well, let's see what's going on here. So I finally get the Tapu Lele, but like I said, you know, I went for that Tapu Lele, but it makes no difference. I don't know why. Like I said, seeing this now, I already realized what the error I made was at this point. But this is what you kind of get to learn. So I was deciding if I wanted to play in or not, but I just ended up playing Cynthia just because I had realized the error my way right away once I played Skyla, hoping I could get a choice band. I tried to go for one more right here. This almost cost things later too. Had I not discarded that Guzma, you'll see that could have changed the mechanics right there too. I got to be really careful because I only run 2 Guzmas, so that probably isn't the card I should have discarded. Easily could have got a knockout there. Easily could have got a knockout, but you'll get to see how that move right there is probably what prolonged this match to go on another 13 minutes. Hey, Daisy. I have a little dog named Daisy. I haven't shown her in a video in a while. I have a little dog, and she's barking right now in the background. Normally I film these a little bit later at night, the daily match sometimes, so usually she's calmed down, but it is a little earlier in our day right now. Fun mechanics about trying to make YouTube videos with an animal. There's some things sometimes you just cannot control. Hey there, honey. No, I have a little dog. I adopted her about a year and a half ago. So what was I going through? What was I looking for? I was deciding how many Aqua Patches I had left, and yeah, I go in here with Zoroark GX. So a perfect example. The double colors energy absolutely comes through here. At this point, I'm able to get 80 damage off just enough, just a very generous amount to knock off the Espeon GX in this turn. At this point, he's already used his GX attack. Literally the only thing I haven't figured out what I want with this deck. My deck currently runs without a GX guy, and honestly the thing is, I don't want to change it. I don't want to, like, you know, even a friend last night recommended Tapu Fini. I've seen some other decks use that. It's just not that good of, it's not, you know, Tapu Fini, which is the water version of Lele, if Tapu Fini was as good as Tapu Lele or something, I would absolutely do it, but it's just kind of a filler card, so it's weird not having that GX mechanic there, but hopefully, whether it's in Forbidden Light or a later expansion, something will come at some point that I decide is fitting. I thought about Alolan Ninetales GX, but again, its GX attack just didn't quite fit the mechanic of my deck. There was one card I thought of, again, but it's situational. Maybe I could throw in Mew EX and then I could, like, use one of my opponent's attacks, but again, it's one of those things that was just kind of, right now when I've experimented with it, feels like a filler card. I tried Glaceon GX a week ago, and again, it was just a mechanic that was just a little too clunky for my taking. So right now, I'm running without a GX, without a guy that can use a GX attack, which I'm perfectly fine with. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, so that end they played definitely did throw a curveball, so we still got 10 more. Gosh, this was a long match. Again, I saw them coming in there with that Garbodor, and things started to slow down here a little bit, but not too. Do I retreat out here? Yeah, I do end up retreating out here. I go in with this Empoleon right here, but the reason why I had thrown out that Zoroark, because Zoroark does have a resistance to Psychic Energy, so I did play that into effect. And what I was trying to figure out here was, did I want to retreat out or use an Aqua Patch? Because, you know, every item card I use right now is powering up his Garbodors a little bit more. And yeah, like I said, I forget what expansion that Garbodor was from. But it's a fantastic 1 energy, 20 damage for each card in your opponent's discard pile. That Garbodor you saw discard right there. Great card late in the game. It'll be weird. We're in a weird time where Floatstone and Garbodor will be rotating out here. There's not really a lot that's replaced. Well, actually, I was talking to one of my friends last night, and basically the card that kind of is replacing Floatstone, I think that Pokemon wants it to use. I think it is the skateboarding card, the one that has a skateboard, I think from Ultra Prism. I think it's just lowers your Pokemon's retreat cards by 1 less, which does help a lot of Pokemon out. I need to double check that too. I'm going offhand right now. But Floatstone is another thing that's on its way out. What did I do here next? I get the knockout here, right? I get the knockout on this Tapu Lele, which, you know, you would think right there would be, I'd be so close to that win, but I saw the opportunity to be able to get this knockout here. What else do I put out on the bench? I throw out another Piplup, which actually ends up, I think, saving the day. So at this point, what's going through my mind is that I'm trying to figure out, you know, I already know I can knock out that Tapu Lele, but I'm trying to figure out how can I knock out just one more Pokemon. So at this point too, I'm pretty sure I've almost gone through every single basic Pokemon in my discard pile, so I am running out of cards at this point in my deck. Look there, there's only 15 there at the bottom corner of what you can see on the video, and you know, it's one of those things where you really got to start, like, I'm counting how many cards I have in my discard pile, what my opponent has in their discard pile, and just kind of go from there. Getting this Field Blower right here as one of my prize cards was absolutely essential, and you'll see why in just a second. Let's see. Professor Sycamore, that was good on their part. Like I said, this match, you'll see why they come back swinging, even though I'm sure they're keeping track of how many cards I have left in my discard pile. And at this point, I've ran out of resources. So what I end up doing, I actually end up doing something not I end up trying to like think what they're gonna do, and I'm so glad I discard. You'll see I'm gonna discard both their float stones in a second, and I'm so glad that was the card I decided to discard it, because I knew they had one float stone in their discard pile right now that I got rid of earlier. So I figured it'd be pretty weird if they had, even for Garbodor, having 4 float stones. That's not unheard of, but I figured that, that's what I got to go for. And my target right now that I'm trying to figure out, how can my Zoroark knock out that Garbodor on their bench, the one with the ability. And at this point, I'm just trying to figure out who I want to send out that I don't mind getting knocked out, basically. At this point, I know they could get down to 1 prize card or something, or they're going to try to go for Guzma, Tapu Lele out, something. But this is when I start trying to think that I want to try to take their attention away from Zoroark instead, and have them focus on Piplup, because Piplup's already they already know that Piplup is my main attacker. So that's kind of what I'm starting to hope for here, that I can kind of like draw their attention away from what I want to do here is have Zoroark attack that last Garbodor on the bench. With Field Blower in hand, I already know that I will be able to get my abilities back, which is very, very critical this late in the game. At this point, I kind of hope that they don't have many more item cards to work at their advantage, and even though I only have 1 prize card to get getting this last prize card was tough. So it starts right here. I throw on that choice band. I don't even throw it on there thinking that I know Piplup's gonna get used. I put it on there just because, maybe I could get it off. But at this point, it was even kind of a tough decision while losing the 2 Empoleons I had in my hand already. But I went ahead to go play that Cynthia. I hadn't attached a water energy yet, so you're gonna see exactly what I thought was gonna happen. I think that's so. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the right now I can do a max of 80 towards that Garbodor if I next turn have that Guzma out here. So this is when I start getting a little tricky here, and I can't believe, like, looking at this now, this was actually my thought process. I had that Aqua Patch in hand, so I'm gonna spread out my water energy to make them. Yeah, I do discard one more thing because I have trade. Spread out my water energy cards just to make them sweat a little bit more. I think I attached a water energy to Zoroark this turn. It was a tough decision to make, but I was trying to like weigh the odds. I think I check into their discard pile one more time and count how many float stones I have. Even trying to figure out if there was a way I could pull it off with Tapu Lele. It was a very long decision deciding who I wanted to attach an energy to. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I attached a water energy to Zoroark. Yep, that's exactly who I attach it to. And then I attach another energy to Piplup, because what I want to happen here, I'm not at this point, or maybe I attach it to Alolan. No, I'm pretty sure I attach it to Piplup. I expect them to have something that can knock it out. That's 100% what I expect them to go for that Piplup. But then my other idea was, at this point, Garbodor has a super high retreat cost. We're just about here at the end of this match. I saw that coming. Literally, I saw that coming and knew that they were going to go for Piplup. And this is exactly what I planned for, because I knew I'd be able to get off. Because both my double colors energy were in here already. So now at this point, I go ahead and send out. I don't remember who I sent out first. Doesn't really matter at this point. But with them having that Garbodor is what I'm weighing the odds right now. What's the most likelihood that that they have a float stone, or can have a way to retreat out that Garbodor? I sent out Alolan Ninetales for kicks and giggles. And then here, this video will be getting towards the end here. Spoiler alert, I go ahead, I attach another water energy to Zork and just pray that he doesn't have Guzma or anything. But the thing is too, even if he had a Guzma, he would be going for one of my other guys anyway. So that's why I wasn't worried about here. At this point, I'm just weighing the odds and hoping for the best, not assuming that I think I can get another person. I finally managed to pull Zorua, which is helpful, don't get me wrong, but I was hoping to get 2 basic. At this point, I think Zorua was the last basic Pokemon in my deck at this moment, with just 5 cards remaining. So basically, I'm just running through here just to see if there's anything. Rescue Stretchers in there. I throw them out there again just for kicks and giggles, just to power up Zork just a little bit more. Yep, and then that Garbodor, you know, if you don't have Float Stone for that Garbodor, he is a pain. It's like, I think he's like 4 energy or something, so I figured that at this point, my best bet to get a knockout and for him to not retreat out was to get that Garbodor with only 100 HP out. And that's exactly what I do. So at this point, my opponent ends up conceding the match, but they actually make some really good play. You know, I'll be honest, I thought for sure they would have a switch or something. Had they had anything here at this point, they would have won the match. I would have not been able to stack things up quickly enough. Maybe I could have done something with Vulpix. Maybe I could have done something with Tapu Lele, but it was going to be a heck of a lot harder. So right here, I think they play Cynthia or Sycamore for their last big move. They attach a Psychic Energy there. They play Cynthia, and I think they end up wrapping up the match right after this. So I'm going to do my little outro. This has been Pokemon TCG Daily. This is one of the most exciting matches that I can remember playing online in a very long time. I played some fantastic matches with this deck last night, and it's just about time for me to do a full in-depth deck profile, what I like about it, what are its strengths. Yeah, because like I said, if I could have used this deck going forward with regionals a couple weeks ago, I would have absolutely used this deck over the deck I had at the time. But fellow trainers, I hope you're having I hope everyone have a fantastic Thursday wherever you are, and I will see you tomorrow as always.